Don't go away. Today, Thor and I are going to visit One Stop Country Pet, located in the center of Keene. We're going to talk about diet, some new toys, and some special leashes.
Denise Mazzola is a certified professional dog trainer with over 20 years experience training dogs and people. If you've got a doggy dilemma, Denise can help.
Welcome to another episode of Doggy Dilemmas. I'm Denise Mazzola. Today, Thor and I are visiting One Stop Country Pet, located in the center of Keene. We're going to talk to Pam about different types of food and what they can do to help our dogs. So let's go in and get started. Come on, Thor. Sit. Sit. Okay. So here we are with Pam Rodenberg. Did I say that correctly?
You did,
okay.
yeah.
Manager of One Stop Country Pet. One Stop Country Pet is located in the center of Keene. It's adjacent to the Colony Mill. And today, the focus of today's show is going to be food. So let's start talking about what makes a good food.
Generally speaking, I'd like to just start and say that there is no one right food for every dog.
Right.
Which people sometimes think, oh, my neighbor's dog is eating this, so it'll be great for mine. And that's not always true.
Okay.
But that being said, generally you want a food that's mostly meat up front. When you look at your ingredients, you want to have meat as the first ingredient for sure, and if you can have meat as the first, second, and third ingredient, then you have a mostly meat-based product. And then you want to look for whole grains, not partial fractions, like wheat middlings is one that some of the lower quality foods will put in there.
Okay.
Things and byproducts are generally not a good thing to have in your food.
So you wanted to say chicken or turkey,
Correct.
But not chicken byproducts.
Correct.
Okay.
And you don't want anything that says meat as opposed to beef. Because that
So
can
the word
be
meat is not a good
meat
thing.
is not a good thing.
Okay.
Poultry is not necessarily a good thing because then they can use whatever's available when they make that batch of food.
Okay.
And it's not always going to be the same thing.
Okay.
You know, it's whatever ingredient works that time.
Okay.
Same thing with the fat. You want it to say something distinct like chicken fat with some kind of natural preservative as opposed to poultry fat.
Okay.
Things like that are just a little too vague.
Okay, great. All right, so let's start talking about food. So talk to me about this one. This is Natural Balance Limited Ingredient Diet.
Natural
And
Balance, yep. They have several formulas that are really good for dogs with allergies because essentially in this bag, it's potato and it's duck and not much else.
Wow.
So that if you're trying to figure out what the dog is allergic to, you don't want it to have too many different things. So if you try this and it works, whatever the allergy issue, itching or licking goes away, then you're okay. Whatever you were feeding, there was something in there that didn't work. This is working great.
Okay.
And then you can start adding in, okay, so duck and potato works, so let me try some fish.
Okay.
And if the issue doesn't come back, then fish is okay.
Okay.
It's a way to eliminate ingredients.
Right. And this is Natural Balance, and their limited ingredient diets. We picked out the duck and potato, but there's others, right?
There's a bison
Okay.
and sweet potato, venison and sweet potato, fish and sweet potato, and chicken and sweet potato.
Okay, great. So that's excellent. So and how long does the dog really need to be on a new diet to make that determination of they're better or they're not better?
You probably need to give it 3 to 4 weeks for sure.
Okay.
It takes a little while for anything that's already in their system to work its way out and have the new diet.
And if you're really trying to flesh out allergies, then are there specific treats that a person could then feed their dog that would not complicate the issue?
Correct.
Okay, good.
Yep, they have a whole line of matching treats.
Okay, excellent. That's great. So that's really good to know. Now, what about, this is just a general question. I feed Thor and my dogs the Prairie. And it's, as far as I know, it's a good quality food.
Absolutely. Yep.
And I switch between the salmon and the venison, and I have no digestive upsets with my dogs as long as I'm switching within the same product line.
Depends on your product line. Nature's Varieties specifically designed theirs so that you can switch from formula to formula
Okay.
without that problem. That's their whole thing is about the rotation diet.
Okay.
I mean, that's kind of how they set up their whole line.
Okay.
So you can use their kibble, their cans, their raw, and not have that issue.
Okay.
If you're switching from another brand to like this, or from Prairie to another brand, it is a good idea to take that up to a week
Okay.
of mixing a quarter to 3/4 of your
So the new
old.
stuff would be the quarter cup
Yes.
and feed the old 3/4 a cup and
Yeah,
daily.
and then get to half and
increase that.
half, and then
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, that's good to
Yeah.
know. That's good to know. Great. Okay, so what else? What are other some of the bigger questions that people come in and ask for in terms of food?
Well, the other thing that we frequently recommend with allergies is to go to a grain-free formula.
Okay.
Which the
Do we pick out one of
the
those?
Natural Balance is a grain-free
Okay.
formula, but the
This one?
Yep, but the
Okay.
Origin, that one is a limited ingredient diet. The Origin is just a grain-free,
Okay.
but frequently grains are where the culprit is
In allergies.
in allergy
Okay.
issues. So this company is made in Canada with regionally sourced ingredients.
Okay.
It's very high quality. This particular one is a blend of 6 different kinds of fish.
Okay.
They have a chicken base. They have now come out with a red meat.
And this one's fish. It looks
This
like
is
regional
the
fish.
regional fish
Okay.
with 6 different kinds of fish in it.
Okay.
Grain-frees are good for that, and sort of a fringe benefit sometimes is because they don't have the grains in them.
Mm-hmm.
Dogs actually can lose a little weight. They're not designed as weight loss diets, but
Right.
that has been
Right.
sort of a finding now that they've been out longer.
Okay, so the grain-free would be primarily for allergies. Is that right or not?
Yeah,
Okay. And why else would you feed this?
it's a much denser protein
Okay.
amount, so you could add that in a situation where you were trying to like up an energy level a little bit.
Okay.
That will help.
Okay.
There are specific diets for active dogs that have
Right.
higher protein and carbohydrates, but if you were just
Okay.
trying to boost the nutrition a little, this is a great way to go.
Okay, great. Now, did we pick out a food for the high active, like an agility or a disc dog?
We did not bring that bag around from Natural Balance because I just have a 30-pound bag.
Okay.
But
That's a good idea.
they have an ultra active formula that is higher in fat and protein. It's just more calories in the bag.
Okay, great. Now let's talk about, this was pretty interesting to me.
Yes.
That is new.
Yep. The Honest Kitchen is a company out of California, and their whole product line is dehydrated raw diet.
Okay.
So in this box, it's a chicken base. They're using free-range, sustainably raised chicken.
Mm-hmm.
The grain in this is quinoa, which is an unusual grain for even us humans, probably for a lot of us.
Right.
And then vegetables and it's all dehydrated. So you're taking your amount, adding water, letting it soak for about 10 minutes, and then you're ready to feed.
Okay.
And so it's a raw diet that's pretty easy to manage
Right.
in a home kitchen.
Right. So what makes this, what makes this raw? Because if you know, what's the difference in the processing of this versus, why wouldn't I just add water? Why isn't this considered a raw? If this is dry and it's raw.
This is just really gently dehydrated, so it doesn't denature the proteins.
Okay.
It's not eliminating the enzymes and things and amino acids
Okay.
in the food. Any kind of kibble is cooked.
Okay.
So the heat and the extruding process
Right.
destroy a lot of those
Okay.
enzymes.
Okay, great. And there's different, we didn't take all the boxes from the back, but there are different formulas, and
Yes.
people should really come in and talk to either you or Chris about
Yep.
the different pieces. And just it's a Doggy Dilemma TV show, but there's also a cat formula, so not to leave
Yeah.
them not to leave out the kitties.
And we have samples. This company's great with their samples, so
Oh,
you can
good.
you can get
Good.
samples and try it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so do you have samples for most of your foods? If somebody wasn't sure, sometimes
Yes.
dogs are really picky and they just won't eat.
Yes, most of our companies do. They may not do every formula, but they all have at least one formula that they do in samples.
Great.
And all of our companies stand behind their food. So it's relatively risk-free to try a bag. So if you bought a 5-pound bag and your dog wouldn't eat it, I can take those back, even if they're open,
Oh, that's
because
good
our
to know.
companies
So
will take
even
them back.
So if you buy a smaller bag, and your dog won't eat the food, they can
Yep.
bring it back here, and you'll take it back, and the company will take it back.
Yes.
That's excellent
Yep,
to know.
yep.
That's really risk-free, especially, you know, when you're trying something new and if you have a picky dog. Now, this is the same company, The Honest Kitchen, and what's special about these treats?
Aside from the fact that dogs really love them, they're also, these are made with buffalo and blueberries. The grain in these is barley.
Car's not a good example because he loves everything, but
That's okay. But
let's see what those look like.
these are really nice little training
Look at that.
size,
Oh, those are great. We're
they're-
always looking
they're
for
crunchy.
small. Yep.
but they're nice because they're not, there's no wheat, there's no corn. It's a little bit different of a
Okay.
protein base.
Okay. Great.
And dogs really love them.
Yeah, this is very nice.
My dogs definitely love them.
Oh, great. So I'll put that down for you.
Sure.
Let's look at this. Something different about this one.
Okay.
Sojo's.
Yep, Sojourner Farms is kind of a similar concept to the Honest Kitchen, where it's a dehydrated diet. They have 4 formulas now. This one is grain-free. It's essentially a dehydrated fruit and vegetable mixture
Okay.
that you're going to soak in warm water and then add your own meat to. And you would ideally want to be adding raw meat, like
Okay.
ground beef or ground turkey,
Right.
whatever, to make it a complete diet.
Okay. So this is just the fruits and vegetables.
Correct.
If you want to do that, and then you would put in whatever raw meat. And we're going to talk about raw meat in a few minutes, so people will know what we're talking about. And they had one that also had the meat in there.
Right. They
if you
have
wanted
2
to do that.
formulas now. I have the one with turkey in it, and they've just come out with a beef formula that is
Okay.
not quite ready, at the distributor. And they have another formula that's grain-based. It has oats and rye flakes and other things in it
Okay.
that you can add your own meat and vegetables to.
Oh,
so you
all right.
can
So
really
there's lots of options.
Yeah, you
for
can do a lot of custom
that. Okay, great.
diet.
Now, my understanding, I guess recently is, raw diet is really the best. I mean, if you think about coyotes that are out scavenging, they're not roasting whatever they've caught over,
Exactly.
over the campfire.
Exactly.
It's raw. Wolves are wild, and they eat raw. Dogs are domesticated. They're not wolves or coyotes, but there's some feeling that a raw diet is good. So before we actually get to the raw stuff, with this and with the
Honest Kitchen.
Yep, the Honest Kitchen that you add water, that's kind of mushy.
Yes.
Going to be a mushy food.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I've always been under the understanding that that a dry kibble helps keep their teeth clean and whatever else needs to be done. So is there any truth to that?
No. I don't think so.
Okay.
There are a couple of companies who make a specific tartar kibble, which is a much bigger piece of kibble, and the way it's formulated, it actually does scrape on their teeth.
Okay.
But everyday kibble that's so small is not really doing anything for their teeth.
Okay.
Raw diet will help with those kind of issues because the enzymes that are in the raw food actually help stimulate their saliva and stuff to help keep their teeth clean.
Oh. So you don't have to have a crunchy based food for
Right.
teeth health.
Right.
Okay. So this may be a question more for the vet, but I'm going to ask you what would be the best thing for teeth health in foods? Is there anything?
I think even if you don't do a raw diet all the time, you can use it as a supplemental to the rest of your food, and that helps. And if you do raw bones as part of that diet, that
Right.
makes a huge difference.
Right. Okay. All right. Good. Okay. So this is a natural balance item. I use these for dog treats.
Yes.
I haven't found a dog yet that really doesn't like them.
Yeah.
But it's also food.
Yes.
So if you don't want to feed a lot of sort of garbage treats to your dog, you can actually be feeding them this for treats, but it's actually dog food, so it's well balanced.
It is designed to be a complete diet, yes.
It is. Okay, great.
Yep.
Oh, so that's good to know too. I'm learning all kinds of
And
great
it's
things.
a good travel
Yes.
diet.
Right. Easy to
Yeah.
maintain.
Yep.
Okay, so let's talk about the missing link. I've heard all kinds of good things about it. I keep meaning to come in and buy some for Mr. Thor. So there's two
Yes.
Two
Yep.
types.
This is the regular that's essentially designed for supporting skin and coat,
Okay.
keeping up energy levels, and it's got acidophilus and digestive enzymes and stuff mixed in with it.
Okay.
So it helps with digestive health. This one has basically that same base, but it has added glucosamine and chondroitin to help with joint issues.
Okay, great, great. And so when I start Thor on this, what's the process? Like, do I just, I don't know how much it says
I
to give
generally suggest that most of these go by weight.
up, but, okay,
And so how much does he weigh?
70.
Okay, so his daily intake would be 3 teaspoons. With any product like this, whether it's salmon oil or any kind of supplement, I would suggest that you start with maybe a third of that
Okay.
to start
And
and let his system get used to having it in there
okay, great.
To avoid any digestive issues.
Okay, good. That's good to know.
I
All right,
find-
so go
Yep.
ahead.
I was going to say, I find that especially with oil, like if you're adding salmon oil for their coat, those things really you need to start slow and build up because that just seems to
Okay.
cause problems if you don't.
So, what about the dog that? Well, I've got two questions. Now, one of my understandings also with Prairie is that if you think about your Thanksgiving dinner table, the 2-year-old, myself, the grandparents all sit down at the same table. We all basically eat the same food, but different portions.
Correct.
So, is that true? I think it's true with Prairie. Like, they don't
Prairie-
have a puppy formula. They
correct.
don't have a senior formula. It's
All life stage.
right.
Yes.
And are most foods that way today? In One Stop.
Probably 3/4 of what we carry is like that.
Okay.
There are still companies that do, a specific puppy,
Okay.
and some of them have puppy and large breed puppy, and then the whole large breed adult line.
Okay.
It's just really more of a philosophy from the manufacturer
Okay.
as to what they consider the right way to feed.
Okay. And so, do large breeds like the Great Danes, the Mastiffs, do they require different types of puppy food or food to start out with?
Well, that's just a matter of opinion.
Okay. Well, what's yours? Because you got the mic on. I've heard different things, and I don't.
And that's exactly. I mean, if you ask 6 different vets, you'd probably get 6 different answers. But essentially, I think that I would not feed a large or giant breed dog straight puppy food because the idea is that you don't want their joints and muscles to grow at different rates because
Right.
that's where joint issues can develop.
Right.
So you're better off using either a large breed puppy, which is formulated for that, or working with a line like this that's an adult food and just, feeding them more as puppies and
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Good. Let's switch gears and open this freezer.
Okay.
And start talking about some of the real raw diets.
Sure.
Okay. Great. So now let's take a look in the freezer for some raw food diet, and let's talk about this.
Okay.
Hang on, Thor. Thor, let's check the freezer out.
Let's check out the freezer. He's like, okay.
I know.
So this particular company is Primal. It's one of the 5 that we stock.
Okay.
Primal has their formula in several ways. The smaller bags are little nuggets, so these are good for small dogs. The bigger bags are patties, they're almost like hamburger patties, a more effective way to feed for big dogs. And each nugget is a complete diet. It has whatever the meat source is, bone, vegetables, ground up into a complete diet.
Great.
So it's an easy way to feed raw. You just have to thaw it out. Generally, you can either put it in a container in the refrigerator overnight or thaw it on the counter for 20 minutes before you feed.
Okay. But you
but
don't want to microwave it, obviously,
Correct.
because then it's not raw anymore.
Right,
Okay.
exactly.
When I fed raw for a period of time, I really struggled with how many nuggets. Like how, the bigger bags have the patties. So a 70-pound, 10-year-old lab.
Right. You wouldn't want to use this because you would need 32 nuggets
Okay.
a day for him.
Okay. And so what about for my Boston Terrier who's like 10, 15 pounds?
So she would get probably 6.
Okay.
10 pounds you're going to do 4, 20 pounds you're going to do 8. So I would say,
Okay.
again, activity level would dictate
Okay.
up or down on that. It's like any kind of food recommended.
Right. Right.
And it depends on if you're feeding this exclusively or using it as a supplement to a canned or kibble, you would moderate
Okay.
that
Now
way.
talk about, I think, did you call these chubs?
Yes.
And the other thing you mentioned was that Primal has different sources. Is that what you called them? Like we have
Well,
quail.
they have a lot of unusual proteins. Yes.
Okay.
So they have duck, they have quail, they have venison, they have sardine in. Like one of their formulas is turkey and sardine in the nuggets, and they have just straight sardine in these chubs.
Okay.
And so these come two ways. One is mix, which was what you have. So it's the turkey with the bones and organ meat and organic produce ground up. And
Yeah, I'm impressed with that.
yeah.
Like organic?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And
And
this
it says
is
the turkey's raised in USA without antibiotics, added hormones, and certified organic produce.
Yep.
And so let me just say this because you talked about this before. The ingredient says turkey neck, turkey wing, turkey heart, turkey liver. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 turkey protein sources, and they're very specific. So that's part of what makes it such a great thing. Thor, the freezer's over here. And then the organic things. Okay, great. I'm sorry I interrupted you, but that's
okay.
impressive that it's organic produce.
Yeah.
And what's the benefit of like the pheasant, the quail? This one says beef and salmon. I think there was turkey and something, turkey and sardine. What is the benefit?
That's just another one of those things where if you're trying to do a limited ingredient diet, or you have a dog that's allergic, like one of my dogs actually is allergic to beef, lamb, chicken, carrots,
Wow.
a few other things.
Right.
So she mostly does a duck-based diet. She can do turkey even though she can't do chicken, which, whatever, it's different amino acids and proteins.
Yep.
So it just is a way to get into different proteins.
Okay.
You wouldn't necessarily want to do a lot of exotic things just because.
Okay.
But they're good backup formulas for if you, because most dog food, chicken, turkey, beef are like, and lamb are the big four.
Right.
So if you need to stay away from those, it's good to have options.
Great. All right, let's put that, call
'Cause
that
my
a
hands
chub.
my hands are cold.
Yeah. And let's talk about the bones, because I give my dogs a lot of bones. But so what's the difference in, this says raw beef, marrow bones, beef raised without antibiotics or added hormones. Why would I want to get this here as opposed to my local grocery store?
That would be the answer right there. This is beef that's raised without antibiotics or hormones, and you know that.
Okay.
It says it on the bag.
Great.
It just depends on where you're buying your bones. Local grocery stores may or may not have hormone-free beef.
Right,
And that's just the kind of thing that you just don't need to add that extra stuff
Okay.
into the dog's bodies.
Right.
You know,
Yep.
especially if they are using. And these guys do, you've got chicken backs, turkey necks, chicken necks. You know, and they are designed to be eaten because it's raw, it's safe. You know, the whole thing about chicken bones and being so bad is when it's cooked, they get brittle, they can splinter, they can get caught in throats.
Okay.
Or get lodged in intestines and things. But raw bones, they can chew up, they can digest more easily.
Okay.
And this is a great way to help with that whole keeping their teeth clean issue.
Okay. So would I give a neck as a meal, or would this be something with one of these other, with the nuggets or the patties?
It would be, you'd have to consider it part of their food ration for the day.
Okay.
So just depending on what else you're feeding.
Okay.
Or, you know, and the activity level of the dogs. I mean, I occasionally do turkey necks with my dogs as just a treat.
Okay.
You know, kind of like you use the puzzle toy thing. I'm like,
Right.
okay, here's a turkey neck.
And these are?
Those are venison marrow bones.
Okay.
We also have, Primal doesn't have them, but one of my other companies has elk bones.
Oh.
These guys have bison bones, which are good for like my dog who has beef allergies, can eat bison bones. So it's just good to have options.
Great. Now, how about food in terms of weight? I see so many dogs that are overweight, and you know, I don't know if they're feeding a low quality food that has a lot of fillers and not a lot of nutrients, or if they're just overfeeding. But does raw help with anything like that?
Yes.
It does. Okay.
Yeah, it does. I mean, if it's the quality of the food a raw diet will definitely make a difference. He likes that, Mom.
I know. I'm getting the message, Thor.
If it's overfeeding, the owner is in control there.
Right.
But I also think that if the dog is absorbing more nutrition from the food it's getting, you're going to get less of that, oh my God, I'm still starving. I ate all my food and I'm still starving, because they're just not absorbing enough out of some of the lower quality foods.
Right. Okay. All right, great. Anything else in here we want to... Where were the turkey necks you were talking about? Are they in here? Those are bones.
They might have shifted into my backup freezer.
That's right. Okay. So you have 5 freezers.
Yes.
Let me just... I'm going to open this one. So talk to us about what you were telling me about this company in terms of their pasteurization.
Sure.
Thor.
Stella and Chewy's is one of the first companies that creates a raw diet to use a process called high pressure pasteurization, which is essentially the food is processed under really intense pressure, like if you went under the ocean, that kind of pressure.
Okay. Not heat then, but pressure.
Correct.
Okay.
It's pressure. So that E. coli, salmonella, those kind of bacteria can't withstand that, so it kills them.
Okay.
So this diet is essentially pathogen-free, which makes the risk of salmonella and E. coli for the humans less. It's still a raw diet, so you still would want to, when you served it, like you would any other raw meat, you still want to wash your own hands.
Right.
But it is a more user-friendly for the humans.
Okay. No real sort of scientific evidence whether, I think I asked this before, but do dogs really suffer from salmonella or E. coli?
Generally, no.
Okay.
I mean, if a dog is already compromised, their immune system they were sick from something else, it certainly is potential.
Okay.
But most dogs can eat raw meat, even if there's a little bacteria in it, and not suffer.
Right. I mean, they drink out of puddles and they eat all sorts of nasty things.
Attractive things out in the yard. Yeah.
Right. So why would a raw diet be?
Exactly.
All right. Great.
And
Go ahead. Anything else?
So the Stella and Chewy's diet comes in that formula, frozen raw. It also comes freeze-dried, which makes it a very convenient travel situation, because you can keep your diet and still have it to carry with you. It also is, when it's in the freeze-dried form, it makes a really good topper for dogs that are a little finicky or have lost their appetite for whatever reason. We did have one of the volunteers from Fast Friends who had a dog with osteosarcoma, bone cancer, who was failing and his appetite was going, and she was basically using that to entice him to eat and keep him going longer. Yep.
Good.
Maintain his quality. So
that's
yeah.
great.
Yep.
Right. Anything else that we should tell the folks about food in general?
I think that the dog is going to dictate how your food is doing.
Okay.
No matter how good the food is, coat quality, energy level, their eyes are bright, they're active. Those are the things you want to look for to know if your food is working for your dog.
Right. Okay.
And if it's not, there's so many to choose from now that, changing to something else. The old adage of never, never, never feed your dog anything different is a fallacy.
Right.
You actually can start developing issues if you never feed them anything but even a high quality diet. If you never fed them anything but prairie salmon and brown rice for their whole life, they can develop problems from that.
Yeah, I would agree. I do a lot of behavioral consults with folks, and if the dog has suspected allergies, I definitely recommend a different change in food, see their veterinarian. But a lot of people feed food that I don't have any, I'm pretending like I do, that have colors. They're green and red and yellow in their food, and I don't do that, and I think all those additives and colors, dyes are not they're not really good for us. And behaviorally, I think they can cause a lot of problems in dogs.
Yeah. A lot of the more what we call grocery store brands that have those colors. The colors are only there for us, because it looks pretty.
Right.
And a lot of them, if you read those labels, there's added sugar, there's added salt, and those are things that are why it's palatable to the dog. It's like us saying, hey, let's have donuts every day.
Right.
Instead of some meat and potatoes.
Right, great example.
So it is definitely not in the dog's best interest.
Okay. Okay. Great. All right. So thank you very much, Pam, for your time
Oh,
today.
and
This
no
has been
problem.
fantastic.
Good.
I'm gonna. I know you've come back from a trade show recently,
Yeah.
and I don't know, there's 6 or 10 pallets that
Quite a
you
bit of
need
stuff.
you need to unload.
There's a
so.
lot of stuff still waiting to get put
All
away.
right. So let's just take a quick break, and then when we come back, I'm going to talk to you about a special dog dish that will help your dog eat slower. Okay, so the last piece that I want to talk to you about with food is some dogs are gulpers. I mean, you put the food down and they're just just inhaling it. They're not chewing it. They're hardly chewing it at all. So this bowl is specifically designed to slow a dog down. With all these things sticking out of here, they have to work their way around it, and it really does work. So if you have a gulper, I would definitely suggest a bowl like this so that they can slow their eating down. Now there's a few other things that aren't food related, but as long as we're here at One Stop Country Pet in the center of Keene, I want to let you know about them because I really like them, and Thor has been enjoying them. So Tuffy, everybody's always asking me for toys that won't shred. So I haven't found one yet that is completely indestructible, but this brand, Tuffy Sea Creatures, these toys are rated for their toughness. And so this sea turtle, if I can find it, is probably, it's an 8. So very tough. And if you come in and you feel these toys, you can feel that their stitching is much tighter. There's 2 rows of stitching. There's some other things inside that really make it much more difficult for the dogs to get them apart. Now my Boston Terrier loves these, and she will definitely start to pull on these appendages and get them open. Remember, dogs are predatory animals, and they're designed to stalk, chase, grab, and tear apart something. So let some of that natural instinct out with some toys, and these Tuffy toys are great for that. The other thing I wanted to show you that Pam talked to me about was these Zogo Flex toys from West Paw. West Paw is an American-made manufacturer, which is nice to know, one of the only ones. And these are guaranteed. So if your dog chews this up and breaks it apart, you can bring it back to One Stop. They'll either replace the toy or refund your money because it's guaranteed from West Paw. There's a variety of these. This one also, I noticed, does have an opening. You know how much I like brain toys, so this could become a brain toy for your dog as well. I'm always looking for those things. Another Zogo Flex West Paw. My little Boston Terrier loves these toys as well. So those are good to know about and get. One other. This is by a company named Lupin. Lupin guarantees their product. So if your dog chews this, or even if another dog chews this, you can bring them back and you can get a new collar and leash. Now that's a fantastic company in my opinion. What I want to show you is this is a limited slip collar. That means you slide it over your dog's head, you attach your leash to this piece, and I'm going to put on Thor in a minute, and then when it pulls tight, the dog cannot back out of it and slip away. And that's a problem for a lot of dogs that I see currently. My other favorite thing about Lupin is you can get matching leashes and collars. So if that's something that you like to do, Lupin has a really nice selection of those. Thor, stand up. Stand. So this slides on like this. You hook here. This is a perfect fit for him, and as you can see, it will not slide off over his head. That's what makes it a limited slip. Your dog, if they're afraid of something, some dogs have just learned to drop their heads and back out of their collar. It's not going to happen with this collar. It's one of the reasons I like them so much, besides they're very pretty colors. And let me just show you the difference. Oh, sorry. This is just Thor's regular collar. And if he wanted to, I can pull it right off over his ear. So that's not going to do anything in terms of helping me keep him with me, but it's just a pretty collar. Okay, lie down. Down. Good. Okay, so today we've been at One Stop Country Pet, located at the center of Keene. We've talked about some fantastic dog foods. I'm going to recap just a few of them for you. We talked about the benefits of the raw diet. It helps with weight, it helps with teeth. It's just generally better overall for your dog. The bones that they sell here are hormone-free, antibiotic-free, all that kind of stuff, which is fantastic. There's a variety of foods to help with allergies if your dog has an allergy problem. if your dog is a senior dog, if your dog is losing weight. I love coming here, talking to the folks here, and really trying to find the best food for my dog. I learned so much today, and I came in thinking, oh, I know a lot about dog food, but there's so much more that I learned today. It's very, very exciting to hear all the different products that are out there. I do a lot of behavioral consultations, and a lot of problems can be solved, not completely, but they can help by changing your dog's food. Get rid of the colors, get rid of the additives, get rid of the byproducts. Put your dog on a high quality food. You'll need less of it. Take about a week to 2 weeks to change your dog over from whatever they were feeding to the higher quality food. And you should definitely see some energy level possibly increase. You should see allergies go away. A variety of things dogs' foods can really help with. We also talked about the bowl that'll help with gulpers. If you have a gulper, a dog that gulps their food, this is the bowl for your dog to eat out of, because they have to really work at trying to figure out how to get the food out of here, and they'll digest better if they've actually chewed their food a little bit. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of Doggy Dilemmas. I look forward to seeing you next week.
Having a doggy dilemma? Denise can help. www.denisemazzola.com. Denise Mazzola is a certified professional dog trainer with over 20 years of experience. She specializes in new puppy consultations, rowdy dogs, aggressive dogs, and private lessons.